Hey there. If you're a parent, you know the feeling. You go online and you're just flooded with advice on how to raise a super smart baby. It can be so overwhelming. But what if I told you that the most powerful science-backed methods were actually the simplest? In this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and focus on 6 tiny habits that make a huge difference.
So let's just get right into it. This is the question, isn't it? The one that keeps so many of us up at night. Am I doing enough? Am I giving my baby the best possible start? We all want to, but what does that actually look like in the middle of a messy, chaotic day? Well, I've got some really good news for you. You can literally put away those Baby Genius flashcards. You can cancel that subscription to the latest brain training app, because all the research points to one thing. Building a healthy, resilient brain has almost nothing to do with expensive gear or structured lessons.
Instead, it all comes down to this right here. The things that really build their brains are the small, simple interactions you have with your baby every single day. These little moments of connection are what are literally wiring their brain for learning, for communication, and for their emotional well-being down the road.
All right, so let's start with our first set of habits. These are all about communication and bonding. And honestly, this is the foundation that everything else is built on.
Okay, so if there's one thing you take away today, it's this idea called serve and return. Just think of it like a little game of conversational tennis. Your baby serves by making a sound, pointing, or even just looking at something. And you return that serve by responding. It's that simple. It's this beautiful little dance of communication.
And here's all you have to do. First, just notice what your baby is looking at, what they're serving you. Then return it with a word or a smile. You can narrate what's happening, like, "Oh, you see that red car?" And here's the key. You don't have to do this all day long. The goal is just short, focused little bursts of back and forth.
Now here's the mind-blowing part. That simple little interaction does something absolutely profound inside their brain. It's literally building the neural connections for lifelong skills like focus and self-control. So every time you return their serve, you're physically strengthening their brain. How cool is that?
And this whole idea of being responsive, well, it extends right to feeding time. So instead of just watching the clock, watch your baby. Responsive feeding is all about trusting their hunger and fullness cues. Not only does it meet their needs, but it builds this incredible foundation of trust and security. A strict schedule, on the other hand, can actually create stress for both of you.
And here's a little mindset shift for a super common frustration. You know when your baby just pushes that spoon away? They're not trying to be difficult. Their little brain is just running a survival program, a safety scan, to make sure this new thing isn't dangerous. Pressuring them to eat just cranks up that stress.
Connection also happens through their senses, and you really don't need fancy, complicated toys. Just reading one book or singing one song a day is so powerful. Simple things like stacking cups, letting them play with different textures, or singing the same songs over and over, that's how their brain learns about patterns, language, and the world around them.
Okay, let's move on to our next set of habits. These are all about creating a calm, predictable, and secure environment. Because a relaxed brain is a brain that's ready to learn.
A consistent bedtime routine is honestly a game changer. And it doesn't have to be some long, complicated thing. This super simple 4-step process. Low lights, one short song, the same phrase every night, and putting them down when they're drowsy but still awake, it signals to their brain that it's time for sleep. And it teaches them that crucial skill of how to self-soothe.
But what about those moments when your baby is just inconsolable? We've all been there, right? Well, think of the 5 S's as your secret weapon: swaddling, holding them on their side, shushing, swinging, and giving them something to suck on. These 5 things mimic the calming environment of the womb and can flip on their natural calming reflex.
Now, that sense of well-being also extends to their physical world. And just like with everything else we've talked about, it's way simpler than you might think. We're not talking hours of baby gym class. The goal is just 2 short windows of active floor play each day. That's it. And you can make that floor time even more powerful with this little trick. Put a really cool toy just beyond their grasp. It's this tiny little challenge that motivates them to reach, and then to roll, and eventually to crawl. It's actually building problem-solving skills in real time.
And here is why that movement is so important. When a baby crawls, that cross-body movement is like a supercharger for the brain. It forces the left and right sides of their brain to talk to each other, strengthening the connections that they'll need later for coordination, focus, and all kinds of complex learning.
And that brings us to our final habit, and it might just be the most important one, because it's about you. A baby's nervous system is incredibly tuned in to ours.
They literally mirror our emotional state. So when we're stressed out, their stress levels go up. And when we're calm, they can finally relax and just thrive.
So this sixth habit is simply protecting your own well-being. And it can be this simple, taking just one single minute for yourself each day, just to breathe, to reset. And listen, if you are feeling overwhelmed, it is absolutely okay to put the baby in a safe place, like their crib, and step away for a moment.
Okay, I know we've covered a lot. So how do we actually pull this all together into something that feels manageable, and not just another thing on your endless to-do list? Let's build a super simple, minimalist routine for the biggest impact.
First, let's redefine that serve and return goal. It's not about nonstop chatter. It's just 10 total minutes of focused back-and-forth talking, broken up into tiny moments throughout the day. 10 minutes, that's it. That is all it takes to make a massive difference.
And second, please don't forget the cornerstone of all of this, one calm minute. For you, your well-being is not a luxury. It is the foundation that allows everything else to work. It is a critical, non-negotiable part of your baby's development plan.
And here it is, all together. This is your daily plan. 10 minutes of talking, 2 little sessions of floor play, 1 song or 1 story, feeding when they're hungry, and 1 minute of calm for you. Just look at this list. This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about seeing the incredible power in the things you're probably already doing. You can do this. This is powerful stuff.
And please, I want you to burn this into your brain. Some days are just going to be a total mess. You will not check every box on this list, and that is more than okay. The goal is never, ever perfection. It is always simply connection.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought. We're always looking for the next tool, the best technique to help our kids thrive. But what if the most powerful, the most effective, the most scientifically backed tool you will ever have is simply your calm, responsive, and loving presence?